Knights of the Old Republic is one of my favorite games of all time, and while I wanted to be excited about the remake because of how cool the initial teaser looked, we had heard some pretty disappointing news about it, some of the people on the writing team having control over it, and I ended up being very skeptical, but I have some good news because Sam Maggs, a social justice activist who was part of the writing team, has quit the project and gone to a company most of us have given up on anyway. I have a bunch of things to show off, but before we get into the topic at hand, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon for just $1 a month or supporting the channel via YouTube memberships. All of the links are in the description, and of course, I do really appreciate all of the support. So starting off with this article from back in September when it was officially announced, it says former The Mary Sue writer and social justice activist Sam Maggs working on Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake, and I have always wanted a KOTOR remake. It is one of my favorite games of all time. It's one of the best games ever created, in my opinion, and there are a lot of people out there who would love a modern day remake, but unfortunately with remakes come changes, gameplay changes, story changes, things that we won't be able to experience until the game obviously comes out, but things that we can worry about, and there was quite a bit to worry about with their initial statements on the remake. It says former The Mary Sue writer and social justice activist Sam Maggs announced that she is and has been working on the newly announced Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake. And everyone in life has their own opinions. Just because she's a social justice activist, in my opinion, doesn't automatically mean that it's going to be a trash remake, that the writing was going to be awful. But unfortunately, Sam Maggs is someone who shoves her opinions into everything she does. She's not someone that kind of separates her personal opinions and leaves them at the door when she goes to work to create stories. See, she's someone that's gone on social media many times and attacked people for being white, for being men, all of these different things. But it says the KOTOR remake was announced at the PlayStation Showcase 2021, where the game's lead producer Ryan Treadwell made it abundantly clear the game is a complete remake. He explained this is a complete remake of this beloved Star Wars story. For Star Wars KOTOR remake, we are rebuilding from the ground up while maintaining that integrity and story from the original. And as someone who loves the original, this is really important that while yes, obviously it's a remake, there's going to be things that they tweak, maybe change. There's features that they can add to the game to make that experience better. It all comes down to the story and what they're going to do with it. If they're going to stay as close to that original game story as possible, or if they're going to make changes for modern day audiences, which unfortunately they kind of hinted at. It says, we want to honor that original story and make it as impactful for players today. In terms of the visuals, we have the opportunity to present this story with a much higher level of fidelity than was possible in the past, while making sure that we are being authentic to what players loved about that original game. So a lot of statements here that do make you feel confident in this remake, but then he goes on to say things like our big goal on this was to bring the story to a modern audience and have it be just as impactful today as it was for players when it originally launched. And unfortunately, when we hear about games being made to appeal to modern audiences, that usually means that they take the original content and completely twist it around and shove narratives into it. I want to stay positive for this, I want to stay hopeful for it, but whenever I hear the term modern audience, I instantly get worried. The audience that played KOTOR 20 years ago is the same audience that wants to play KOTOR today. Those audiences haven't changed at all. It's not like you're taking writing from hundreds of years ago and you have to change it a little bit now to make it more modern and with the times. No, we're talking about a game from only 20 years ago. So audiences haven't changed that much, and the content that we want hasn't changed that much. But going specifically to talk about Sam Maggs, I wanted to read just a couple of the comments that she has made on social media over the years. These statements are a big reason why a lot of people were feeling hesitant about the KOTOR remake. She has said things in the past like, isn't KOTOR your favorite? No, they hired someone for this remake who has openly admitted in the past that KOTOR isn't her favorite game or even her favorite Star Wars game, and she doesn't really have a lot of love for it. She has said before, fighting the patriarchy makes me hungry, so I'm going to sit in the kitchen while my male partner cooks dinner. A hammer for smashing the patriarchy, it would have bows. It's freezing, but hating the patriarchy keeps me warm. As you can see, she's someone who goes on social media very often and goes after the patriarchy and goes after men and tries to make jabs at specific types of people. But there is quite a bit of good news, because she has decided that she is quitting the KOTOR remake, or at least that's what she's saying. So it says, Sam Maggs, a former writer at the Mary Sue, announced that she quit working on the KOTOR remake. And let me just put this up front. It's not like she was fired. It's not like cancel culture got to her. She just decided to go to a different company and work on different games and work on different projects. So I don't feel very bad saying this. I am so glad that she's off this project. She was my biggest worry on this project, that she was going to take the story, she was going to twist it around. I am so freaking relieved to hear that she is off this project and she won't be able to dig her claws into it. And yes, that doesn't mean that this game will 100% not be woke, not have specific messaging pushed into it, but it makes me a little bit more hopeful surrounding this project. It says, Sam Maggs previously announced her involvement in the series back in September. She had made a big deal out of it, saying that she was part of an incredible team to remake one of my all-time favorite games, even though she had, in the past, like I showed, admitted that KOTOR wasn't one of her favorite games. However, on her website, she now claims that she quit after working on the game for 9 months. She said, I was working on this project for like 9 months in 2021 and then I quit. You're gonna be okay if you email or message me about it. I won't see it. My filters are really good. And this doesn't sound very positive. It's not like she's saying, I'll do a couple of interviews with people. I had a really good time, really good experience. I love the team. She sounds very negative about it. She definitely doesn't sound happy because she's refusing to talk to anyone about it. But this revelation appears to confirm a rumor from a YouTuber named Mr. Maddie Plays, and he had said that her contract expired. So she decided to, on social media, say that she quit. She just decided not to work on this project anymore. But behind the scenes, it seems like she didn't get a contract renewal. They didn't want to work with her anymore. They didn't want her on this project anymore, which I think is hilarious. But the funniest part of all of this is the company she decided to go and work for. She's moved on to work at Wizards of the Coast to be a narrative lead. This is the tweet that she made. Today I'm joining the brilliant folk at Wizards of the Coast on their digital publishing and licensing team as a narrative lead. Now, you guys know, I talked about Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons a lot here on the channel. I used to really like Wizards of the Coast products, but unfortunately, over the past few years, they have gone super woke. They are a wokier than thou company, and I don't really support them anymore because of that. They have gone completely off the rails with the people they're hiring, a lot of the statements they made, so it's no surprise that someone like Sam Maggs wanted to go and work at Wizards of the Coast, and if that's the type of company she wants to work for, good for her. I'm glad that she found a job that she likes more. But honestly, Wizards of the Coast, thank you for taking her. You can keep her. I'm just happy to hear that she is off the KOTOR remake. I really, really hope that this game is going to be absolutely fantastic. I really hope that it's going to be all of our dreams and everything we've ever wanted. I'm still feeling a bit hesitant about it. I'm not 100% feeling extremely positive about it, but now with this news, I'm feeling a little bit more hopeful. But that's all that we really have to talk about for Knights of the Old Republic. When we hear more news on it, I will for sure be covering it, but That's all that I had to discuss today. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.